It's 10:26 on the 26th of November 2021, and I'm raising a matter that revolves around the issue of communication and people's inability to communicate appropriately. This matter has involved the poor practice of women involved in this matter that are negotiating patronage with their bodies that I find highly offensive and really disrespectful to young women that have aspirations for positive contributions in society. So as I've mentioned, there has been the issue of isolation tactics, intimidation. Threatening behaviour has been also used to obstruct individuals from speaking with the person that they're meant to be speaking, while there's broad daylight theft occurring, and while there's also a societal dementia with regard to how worldwide reform actually transpired in 2018. This, as I keep reiterating, led to coronavirus pandemic and COVID-19. So I have a very serious issue as a survivor of sexual assault that young women or any woman would be using their female anatomy in a process of communication to negotiate very serious matters, while the individual that is in ownership of this entire circumstance is being isolated and ignored. This is what I'm tolerating. It's a breakdown in communication. There's a communication breakdown, and it's insulting media and culture, and it's insulting young women's bodies and the survivors of any assaults. So this issue is lowering the standards of society, it's lowering the standards of professionalism, it's lowering the standards of integrity, and it's jeopardizing so many facets of this entire situation. So that there are women that are being compromised as they are now officially tools of bargaining, tools of negotiation. It's really dangerous what's happened in Tralee, County Kerry, when a survivor of sexual assault as of 2006 and a vile vendetta of revenge porn that I experienced is still an unresolved issue. And today, in 2021, my son that has been really seriously harmed in state care, legally a missing person, unlawfully in state care, and there are women using their bodies to circumvent, deviate, digress, etc., from this entire situation. So there's a vast magnitude of very weighty matters that aren't easily so negotiable with women's bodies, and women using their bodies in any shape or form is not really respectful to any aspect of this situation. So for the women that have used their anatomies to trespass into my properties, those women that have used their bodies and risked themselves in so many ways, stealing from my royal patronage, I really hope those that are of politics and policies and procedures, good business, bad business, good gains, bad gains, I really hope they've weighed up the costs, damages and losses with regard to all of the circumstances that really matter. So the women that I'm fully aware of that have been jeopardized using their bodies in this circumstance against my property and patronage and my beautiful child, to use that as a negotiation or communication tool is setting a really poor example to young women that I have huge concerns for as an educator and a humanitarian. Under no circumstances are women's bodies ever to be abused or utilised or exploited for any circumstances such as what I'm experiencing. These circumstances have been happening for the past few years, and it's really sad sign of the times. So I hope the United Nations is aware of the very dangerous matters that are going on in Tralee, County Kerry, Ireland. I hope they're mindful of the world reform that I set about and the wealth recovery that has saved so much and so many as of 2018. And I'm also hopeful that the United Nations is also aware of the health recovery as a consequence of my endeavour in 2018 that saved many and that brought many into recovery and healing. And you know, I have mentioned it before, it's a delicate subject, but addiction, etc., etc., and the abuse substance that was going on. It's a really heavy situation. So I hope the United Nations is aware of the dangers of women that are using their bodies to gain any leverage with my circumstances, my property, my entitlements, and the obligations that are due. And of course, the very dangerous issue of repeat financial theft and financial fraud. So I'd appreciate the United Nations being aware of the calculations of damages to sacred royalty of my sacred